Reflections with Marilyn Baker. Brought to you by Torch Trust, the Christian organisation with a vision for people with sight loss.
Hello and welcome to Reflections from Torch Trust, the show that focuses on faith and disability in today's world. I'm Marilyn Baker and it's wonderful to have your company. This week on Reflections, I'm joined by Torch Trust's Sheila Armstrong to chat about Sight Village Central 2024 that took place recently in Birmingham, an exhibition which offers a unique opportunity to discuss and engage new innovations and technology for people living with any degree of sight loss.
Reflections from Torch Trust.
Hello Sheila, it's wonderful to have you on the show today. Now, you were at Sight Village this year, and it's one of the biggest exhibitions for showcasing equipment and services, isn't it, for visually impaired people. How did it go?
Well, it went very well. It was actually the 30th anniversary of Sight Village.
Oh.
And I pretty well think I might have been at the first one, so it does make me feel rather old. So there was a bit of buzz and excitement around the fact that it turned 30 years old. I don't think it was quite as busy as last year. Sometimes, if you go a lot, you kind of compare years. But there was certainly a good level of people and a good lot of interest going on at Sight Village.
Yes. When there's a lot of people milling around, how do you get around it? Do you have a guide to help you? Or?
Yeah, well, I was very lucky because I had Edith Townsend. And some of you listening will know that very sadly her husband, Mike Townsend, died last November. And that was a great sadness to us all. But the thing about Edith is that she's extremely experienced at taking a blind person round. So I was very lucky. But those who didn't have someone like Edith, they do provide guides and they give them a bit of briefing of what they need to do and how they need to help people. And they come from a secondary school usually. So they're quite young people. And of course, they probably haven't seen any of this technology themselves. So maybe they're a bit interested, although I have been round with these sighted guides in past years. A lot of them are more interested to see how many pens and how many sweets they can pick up along the way around. But I don't blame them, because if we're standing asking sort of funny questions about these gadgets, they probably do get a bit bored. So it's very good that they do it. It's a very good service. And it does mean that someone can arrive and make sure that someone will help them round.
And it's good experience for them, isn't it?
It's good experience for them and it's good for the blind people. So it's good on all fronts.
Is it easy to get to it?
Yes,
the venue?
It's quite near the centre of Birmingham. So it's only about 10 minutes in a taxi from Birmingham New Street Station, railway station. I'm not sure about the bus stations because I'm a bit of a travel sick person. I don't normally travel in buses if I can help it. But
it sounds like a good place. Now, what stood out to you there?
Well, there is one thing, a general thing that was new, and it's happening everywhere, not just at Sight Village, and that is the employment of artificial intelligence, AI. A lot of the gadgets are now, for example, the scanners. So HumanWare had a scanner, and if you've already got one and it's not too old, not too out of date, they can add another board to it and it'll have AI. So doing that, if it scans something and it doesn't quite get it right, you can hold down a button and it will send the image over the internet to an AI server, and it will try and make a better interpretation of what the picture's telling you. So,
that sounds excellent, doesn't it?
Well, it is, yeah. So if there's difficult text, and then once the AI has got hold of the stuff, you can start asking it these kind of questions, like if it was a menu, what are the side dishes, what are the main dishes? So, if you're trying to scan a menu to get a takeaway or something, you could ask more detailed questions once you've got the AI in place.
If you're using it for a menu, does that mean it's a portable type of scanner that you can take around with you?
Yeah, the one that I'm talking about is about the size of a laptop, but it's got a camera that just folds down on top of it. It is portable, and they give you a carrying case that you could carry it around with you. But I don't think you'd really want to take it to a restaurant, and you certainly wouldn't get on the internet that way, would you?
No, you wouldn't. Now, did you buy anything? Because I know you love tech. So what did you get?
Well, I am thinking of getting this little addition to the human scanner. I haven't got it yet. I don't think that particular item is on discount, but a lot of things are on discount. No, I didn't buy anything this year, but I did see these new talking Zoom recorders. Steve Nutt Computer Room Services had all three of them, and they go up in stages of being more and more capable. And the big one was, well, you would be able to carry it certainly, but it was more chunky. And then the middle one, and then the baby one that just goes on ordinary batteries. The other two, you can recharge the battery, it's rechargeable.
So this is a portable digital recorder, is it?
Yes. And the big thing is that for the first time, Zoom have implemented talking menus and, you can hear your levels. And they've also got a special thing on the levels that makes it much more likely to adjust automatically so you don't have to fiddle with controls too much.
So you could, in theory, get quite a professional recording from it.
Well, I think that's the idea. Yeah, maybe I should have bought one.
Yes, I think.
We're always trying to be a bit more professional, aren't we?
Yes, I think I'd like one. Anyway, was it all techie stuff, or did you find anything else there?
No, there were quite a lot of other things. There were stands that represented different eye conditions like macular degeneration, and some I hadn't even heard of. So you can always learn about a new syndrome if you go to Sight Village. And it's good that somebody is reaching out and supporting, parents with children that have it, or indeed adults that have it. So there's all that. There are also colleges like the Queen Alexandra, which actually organises Sight Village, and Worcester College, which is the blind school for blind and partially sighted girls and boys now. And there was a lot of other things. So Torch Trust had a stand, and we were giving out Bibles, New Testament and Psalms. So you could say that was slightly technical, although you don't need to be very technical to work those things. But the main idea of going there is to connect with blind and partially sighted people or rehab workers to let them know what we can offer. And of course, a lot of rehab workers just go around picking up leaflets.
So these small Bibles that Torch were giving out, they are a digital machine, aren't they?
Yes, they're called Pathway, but that's just the name they've given them. They are digital, yeah.
But I've heard stories from people who have found these small digital machines to be able to read the Bible on very useful, especially when you've recently lost your sight and you feel disappointed that you can no longer access the scriptures. So that is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
believe they are given away. They are free, aren't they?
They are. I mean, obviously there is a cost, so anyone can donate to that, but they are at the point of giving away, just like the NHS. They're free on the point of giveaway.
Fantastic. I think that's a wonderful thing they're doing. Do you think it's worth going to Sight Village?
Well, I think there are pros and cons of going to Sight Village. The pros are that you do get to see a lot of things, but some things are still in prototype. You can't actually buy them yet. And one of them was a Windows machine with a Braille display built in. So it was like a laptop. So you'd have to attach a screen if you wanted one, but it was just a laptop with a Braille display all built in. Now, those of us who have worked at Braille displays would know that that's quite a good thing because your hands can get very stretched if you're sort of reaching between your QWERTY keys and your Braille display. So to have something built in like that would be really lovely, but it's not available yet. It's on Orbit Research are developing it. And a guy from Israel who's been one of the software developers, he's from Orbit Research and Open Mind. And he's an amazing guy. He'd been through a lot, living in Israel. Living in Gaza's terrible, but living in Israel's terrible as well because they never do know when these rockets are going to strike. And so it's very difficult for a blind person, no matter which one they're living in.
Very, very difficult. Yes.
Yeah.
So you feel there are pros and cons?
Yes. So you can see these things before they're actually, available to buy. So that can either get you excited or you're fed up because you can't get them yet. But the difficulty is that, as you referred to, people milling about a lot, it's not that easy to get a good demonstration of a product. So I think it's a kind of like a first look, in the Witch magazine, they have first looks and then they go into something in a lot more detail. And I think if you had a first look and you thought it might be something for you, the best thing is to ask for a demo. And a lot of the companies will send somebody out and do a home demonstration where you can see it in your own home, or in some cases, you can go to the company itself and see the thing if you're able to travel. Of course, with Sight Village, you can see well, there must have been at least 10, I should think, different braille displays there, for example. You might think, oh, well, braille displays, a braille display is a braille display, but they all have their little differences and different features.
They do, and they run seminars, I know. And
Yes, they
are
do.
these seminars available once the Sight Village is finished? Can you stream any of them, do you know?
I don't think you can. No, so you really have to go there to get your seminars. So
Yes.
they make them fairly interactive, so it would be quite hard to record them, I think. But certainly the companies that have run them would certainly give people more information. So I went to one about labeling things, not only in Braille, but with tactile, things that you can feel, not necessarily Braille. That was interesting. And then I went to one that was focused on AI, and that was obviously that's all the talk of the town at the moment, the AI, and that was interesting as well.
I think labelling is important because, well, when you're in the kitchen or you want to know what something is, very important to get it right, isn't it? And there are different ways of labelling. And yes, I think AI is coming on leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Well, we know now that at least during August, many of these companies are giving special offers to people.
Yes.
And do you know anything about that?
Yes, certainly Sight and Sound. Some of them run till the end of July, but the Sight and Sound ones definitely run till the 31st of August. They're ones that they've partnered with. I mean, Sight and Sound isn't an actual producer of equipment, but they partner with people who do produce it, and they sell it and maintain it and do webinars on it and all that sort of thing. So they've got the Sense family, the HIMS products. So that's the Braille Sense 6, the new emotion braille display. I don't think I've ever felt emotional about a braille display except when it's not working. But anyway, that's what they call it, the emotion. That's the latest one, and that's on offer. Some of them have got 10% off, and some of them have got 20% off. And there's the Envision glasses, which some people may have heard of, which tell you what's in front of you. Like they're not letting your eyes see what's going on. They've got their own camera. Thanks very much.
So the camera is translating what you are seeing, what you're kind of looking at ahead of you. And I guess all that will improve as AI gets more strongly involved with it.
Yes, and I think it is fair to say that in the last sort of 5 years, that kind of gadget has come on in leaps and bounds. Maybe we'd like it a little bit better, but it's certainly come a way ahead. And then there's a long cane with an attachment that gives you a bit more navigation information, vibrates in your hand if you're getting too close to something. That's called We Walk. That's not available till October. Some of the things are on pre-order.
So really, I think that if people want to find out about these special offers, is there a way they can do that?
Well,
as they're all from different companies.
Yes, I mean that's the thing. I mean, I don't really want to reel off a whole load of websites because we'd have to do, to make it fair, we'd have to do loads. If somebody's really interested in a project, I'm happy if they want to email me at radio support. That's all one word, radio support at torchtrust.org. So that's radiosupport at torchtrust.org.
Yeah, radio support at torchtrust.org. And
yeah,
and then say, hi, Sheila. And ask her to give you some info about a specific product. And if she can't, she might head you towards somewhere you can.
That's what I would do. I would point somebody in the right direction if they were interested in a particular product.
Well, I hope we don't get hundreds of emails as a result.
Well, we'll
of
see.
That.
It'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting if we do it. I'll certainly let you know.
Well, it's been great chatting to you, Sheila, and we do hope that when you do get your particular piece of tech, it will serve you very well. Thank you so much, and we know we'll be talking to you again very soon.
Thanks a lot, Marilyn.
Reflections from Torch Trust.
Our thanks once again to Torch Trust's Sheila Armstrong for reviewing for us this year's Sight Village Central event in Birmingham. And once again, if you want to contact Sheila and ask her about anything she saw at this year's show, you can email her on radiosupport@torchtrust.org. Time now for this week's Thought for the Week, which is thinking about how we listen to the news and how we experience the world around us. It's read to us by James Brookman.
Every morning, my radio comes on with the sound of Radio 5 Live breakfast programme. The presenters do their best to be cheerful, but there are some days when the news is so depressing that the atmosphere of gloom is difficult to shift. I wonder if I should reset my radio alarm to a different station without news broadcasts. However, I don't do that because I believe it is important to know what is going on in the world. For one thing, the Bible says Christians should pray for people in positions of authority. We cannot do this effectively if we don't know what's going on in the world of political and social affairs. Yet I must try to get things in perspective. This is a helpful Bible verse from Colossians.
If then you've been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth.
What we set our minds on will determine how we view what is happening around us. Though it doesn't always appear so, Christians believe that the rule and authority of Jesus Christ are in fact present realities. When we have set our minds on the things that are above, the things that belong to Christ, the things that are eternal, we need not despair when we hear the news. In many ways, we live in a very sad world, but in Christ we have a great Saviour, and we can pray that many will come to know him and share the same hope and joy which is ours when we follow him. And though it's not heard much on the radio, there is in fact plenty of good news around. As it says in Proverbs in the Bible,
Like cold water to a weary soul is good news from a distant land.
and the best good news around is that Jesus Christ loves us. Jesus said, recorded in John's Gospel,
I have come that they may have life and have it to the full.
Thank you to James for reading this week's thought, how we listen to the news and how we experience the world around us, all while keeping God at the centre, knowing that he loves each and every one of us. That's just about all we have time for on Reflections this week. But before we go, let me remind you once again of our retreat on the 14th and 15th of October at Torch House in Market Harborough. This will be 2 days of worshipful spiritual refreshment where you can take some time out to renew your relationship with God, enjoying fellowship with friends old and new, as we are led by Michael Mitten, the freelance writer, spiritual director and speaker. If you'd like to know more or would like to book your place, please do get in touch with our client services team. You can give them a call on 01858 438 260. That's 01858 438 260. You can also find out more about Torch by visiting the website torchtrust.org, or you can email info@torchtrust.org. Make sure you join Reflections from Torch Trust next week, when I'll be in conversation with Craig Spence from the International Paralympic Committee ahead of this year's Games in Paris. We'll be talking about how the Paralympics have become one of the world's largest sporting events, what we can expect in 2024, and some of the positives and difficulties that surround the Games too. But until next time, from me, Marilyn Baker, God bless.
Reflections from Torch Trust.